Sorry.
You were trying. Do you have a selfie on the computer to take a picture of it?
No. I took a screenshot. Oh, sorry, not me.
Oh, I have a shot of you, Calise. I'll
put
you up.
Me?
Yeah, I'll be able to put you up on the screen. I'm gonna.
You can put my video on if you want.
I'm gonna pat you in. I can't do it from there. I just have a cute picture of you.
Oh, okay.
So.
Is it one of my headshots?
First of all, let me do some. Are we on now? Facebook? Hi, everybody on Facebook. We're about ready
to
start.
Hi, Facebook.
Let's make sure people can hear before we get started.
Let's get that going.
Periscope gives me a lot of grief. And halfway through, the sound goes out. So we're back on Facebook. Okay, we're live. Can everybody hear us out there? There's 7 people, so
Woo!
All 7 continents. Can you hear us?
Right, I'm going to have to see if I can hear. Let me see if there's sound. Hello? Anybody out there?
Hi.
Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, a place where Susan can introduce to you psychics, clairvoyants, past lives, and paranormal experiences. Now, here's your host, Susan Pinsky.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live and Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. I'm here today in a live broadcast to answer some questions about the possible whereabouts of Mollie Tibbetts. And she is a missing person from Iowa who's been in the news recently. She was 20 years old, or is 20 years old, and was house sitting for her boyfriend and his brother, and went out running and disappeared unexpectedly. She wasn't the type that seemed like she would run away. She was a college student. She had a lot of friends. Beautiful girl. And it's drawn a lot of media attention because it's just such a curious thing that she disappeared. So I brought in today 3 psychic mediums whom I've worked with before on cases like this. When we worked with Joe Ringer, we were able to sort of pinpoint certain things that may be helpful to the case and maybe help find her. We're all doing this by our feelings. We don't know exactly what's the truth, but whatever comes to us, we'd like to report and see if it's helpful. We're not, trying to get in the way of any kind of investigation or anything like that. But it's always nice to have an intuitive give information that they get that we don't see by the naked eye. So I brought together today Jennifer Shaffer, who is a forensic psychic. She works with the FBI quite a bit. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
She was the first one who wanted to do this. We didn't have the opportunity of getting a guest that knew Mollie, but we figured, we just would use our intuition and see what we could come up with. And then she really loves working with Rebecca Fearing, who's here in the house as well, because Rebecca has a lot of experience with this, and she's found people and saved them. And, we have stories on our podcast about that, and I find it really amazing what she can do. And then on the line and floating over in a ghosty face over my shoulder, not sure how that's transcribing on Facebook, is Calise Simone, who
Hi guys
in New York.
Hi.
And
Hi.
she's got her own take on everything too. So, I like to have 3 different opinions in something like this.
Absolutely.
It kind of helps to have more than one person do it, and we'll just sort of let them guide us and see what they can come up with. But first, before we get into addressing this tragic event, which obviously has shaken the nation, I'd like to introduce you to Toni Ingram. She's on the line as well. Hi, Toni.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for being on Calling Out. We really appreciate a last minute interview. But the reason we're having Toni on is Toni was on a previous Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, episode 27, which was about 100 episodes ago. And we had Lynette Carolla and I did a show called Crimes, and she was one of my first Sideshow Network shows. And the spirit of her daughter, she lost her daughter to a murder, and she's experienced this firsthand, and it's been about 7 years. So she's been dealing with this day in and day out since the death of her daughter, and she has so many insights into, and she's grown so much over the years, helping people who are in the same experience. And Toni, tell us what you're up to these days.
Currently, I'm the West Coast Director for FOHVAMP, which is Families of Homicide and Missing Persons out of Denver. So I work firsthand with the families of missing loved ones and cold case homicides like our daughter, unfortunately. Our daughter was 20 years old when she was killed, the same age that Mollie is, and she's missing right now. And it's just horrific and unthinkable. And I know what these families go through. I work with these families all the time, and it's horrible, and they never give up. They'll just never, ever give up, and they just want answers. They just want wherever the answers come from. They don't care. They just need the answers. It's like pieces of a gigantic puzzle, and all these pieces have to come down from the sky or wherever they're coming from to put this picture together, so they can find out what happened to their loved one. And like I said, they'll never give up.
And I know you worked with Jennifer originally on this case, and then you also spoke with
and I'm also the Academy Director for the JS Intuitive Investigations Academy, which is Jennifer's baby. And I work with the law enforcement along with Jennifer and the co-victims, which are the families of the missing and murder victims. So I do it for both FOHVAMP and for Jennifer, and I'll tell you, it's just really gratifying. It's hard work, and I don't know how the intuitives do it, because I know it's hard on their heart, but they do it for free. They do it pro bono, and they give them themselves. And I'll tell you, being one of the families and speaking with families all the time, the families and law enforcement really, really appreciate everything they get from these intuitives. They do.
I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful for you, Toni. I think you know that. And the
thanks, Jennifer.
Also, a shout out to all the beta testers for our app that are helping these on a pro bono basis, helping these cases. And you've been so instrumental in making sure that everything runs smoothly. I don't know what I'd do without you. So thank you.
Thank you. And you guys are all wonderful. You're amazing, and you're helping so many families, and they appreciate it too.
Well, I don't want to say, straight out here that there's a good chance that Mollie's disappearance could be a homicide, but we don't want to lose hope that it is, isn't. We're not going to look into that today. I really want to have some ideas and details as far as if she's dead or alive, where she is, and how can we somehow get clues. And I know that your daughter, Morgan, is a strong spirit, and she's around. She was messing with Jennifer's shower, turned the electricity off, and Rebecca had a flood right before she got here.
I took a cold shower.
I
didn't have too much trouble because I tried to not look into it too soon. I'm trying to keep the spirit. And I entertain ghosts in my house all the time when I have these shows. So, I don't mind. I think it's actually kind of cool to know that there's, that I have these entities around me, but I just don't want another flood. I just finished patching up the roof in my living room, like literally on Friday. So let's keep the water from spraying anywhere in the house. But I do think the three of these psychics are extremely good at what they do. And I'm going to let, Jen kind of start and see what she can come up with. She's investigated a lot about this. The only things that we really do know is that she was house sitting for her boyfriend's brother, and she went missing, and there were certain places that law enforcement were looking at, and I'm going to show some pictures if it happens to come up, where she was, maybe when she was abducted or where she was, last seen or whatever, intuitively, maybe we can look at that. There's, she was jogging on this big highway where she could have just gotten picked up by, common sense says she was running on the highway, got picked up and was taken away. You know what I mean?
Right.
But also it could be within 20 miles of her house and
Right.
she could be somewhere. But, there was another woman, another 20-year-old
Correct,
woman
yes.
found in the vicinity, and they determined that it was not her. So what was that? Is that you,
That was
Calise?
just me agreeing.
Okay, and so
Sorry.
they've done all the normal, investigations of this type of things, and the police are asking for any kind of information that you have. If you're in the Brooklyn, Iowa area, then and you may have seen something, you can go to these websites like findingmollie.iowa.gov, and you can give anonymous tips. They've interviewed all the local people that might be suspect, and they're not coming up with much, but we don't know much about the
Right.
case itself. And the one thing I did learn in working with Joe, finding Joe, Joanne, we realized that the police doesn't always do the best job finding this. There's
Correct.
only so much they can do until they
Right.
find something.
Right.
And so I don't know. I'm going to let you take over, Jen.
Okay, so I just, for those that are listening, I just want to explain a little bit about the process and why this is so important. What I believe is, we always search for the person with, as far as my academy goes and Investigation Alliances, we don't predict death. We don't say whether they're dead or alive. We actually try to find information. And so in finding information, it's not even evidence, and I'm being very careful about language here. And the reason for that is because there's been too many psychics that say certain things that have given us a bad name, especially when it's come to crimes. And so part of this has to do with we don't do the work of going out in the fields. We just give information that they have to make evidence. We don't even give evidence. They actually have to make it evidential. So in that process, in looking at this case, like today is 1 month from the time that she's been reported missing. She has been missing, though, since yesterday, a month ago yesterday. There are 5 different spots that law enforcement and the FBI are looking at. They're asking for people, and this is what we really want to tell you guys, is it doesn't matter if you saw anything. If you were in that area at that point in time, whether it was in the Brooklyn, Iowa city area or out on the Outer Banks or at what they call, what was a car wash that had a straightaway to the I-80 highway, or whether it was there was another actual parcel, but there was cornfields. Like even if you just were there at the time that it happened, but you didn't see anything, call in and just explain what you saw. It could be nothing to you, but it could be everything to them. And this is where people get it confused. They think, well, I didn't see some guy take her, or I didn't see. It could be this most subtle clue of there was a guy wearing a hat that was smoking a cigarette, and I heard, it could be anything.
Right. So
please let them know that
they were pinpointing a car wash,
correct,
a truck stop.
Right.
This is all on July 18th. A farm more than 3 miles away from downtown Brooklyn, and another farm about more than 6 miles away. So those are the areas that they were interested in.
Right.
She was seen running by the car wash, the D&M car wash, I think it was, and if you saw a girl running and you happen to see them in that area, you can go online too, and you can look at the places.
Everything's out there.
They have links that you can go to where it'll say if you saw anybody at the DMN car wash on the evening of July 18th to contact via this tip page here. If you go to, findingmollie.iowa.gov or near the TA truck stop on the evening of July 18th.
Or a couple days before.
And then, or the area of 385th Avenue on the evening. So they're trying to find people that may have seen her.
Right. And even if it wasn't that particular night, even a couple nights before, if you saw something suspicious in those areas, call it in.
Yes.
Because I believe that this attempt wasn't the first attempt. I think that it was, it's happened a couple times before. And
I agree with that.
Okay, so I strongly feel that if you saw something a couple days before, even a week before, I think this was something that wasn't just the spur of the moment. And I think that every piece of information helps. Every piece of information will help. I think Crime Stoppers are amazing. You can actually call in anonymously and give information. And
I'm going to have you move your mic a little closer to your mouth.
I hate this. Okay.
Here
we go.
You've got such a soft voice, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
I do. And the other thing that I want to say to you guys is there's no bad information. If you're an honest person, of course, and you're wanting to help, it could be anything, even the hat, even anything. If you're in that area.
You're really focused on a hat. What was the hat?
I don't know. I just saw it. There's something with a hat, a red hat.
I saw a red hat too.
Did you?
You did.
I've seen it a couple times. Okay.
Okay.
And so I know when I say things, I know what's mine and I know what I'm getting. I didn't say that here, but just give the information, allow them to go through it. Again, you might think it's really small that you saw some kid, being taken into a van or whatever. I'm just saying this is a hypothetical. Just report it if you thought it was a little bit strange, whatever it is. And they said that. So on the website that Susan just gave, can you repeat that one more time?
It's it's Finding Mollie, MOLLIE.iowa.gov. But you could just probably Google Mollie Tibbetts, and then you could find this easily.
They have a full sheet of what to look for, or if you recognize any of these habits. Somebody smoking,
right?
Somebody that was pacing. Like they have a whole, clue of what it should be.
I have it here.
Right. So you can look that up, and if you've noticed, if there's something that all of a sudden pops into your head, because this is how it works, right, Rebecca?
Yeah.
It just pops into your head. You can actually just give that information. If you're looking at something and something pops into your head, please call them. Please call Crime Stoppers. Please call the numbers that they'll give you regarding the different areas.
Look for behavioral changes.
Correct.
If you saw something and you thought it was odd, look for change in a normal routine, which might include missing school, work, or routine engagements without a plausible explanation, a vehicle unexpectedly taken to the repair shop, sold, or disposed of.
Right.
Unexpected or extensive cleaning of a vehicle at an unusual time of the day. Unexplained lack of contact or inability to get in touch with someone you knew on the evening of July 18th into the morning of the 19th, altering of physical appearance, growth or removal of facial hair, change in hair color, displays of anxiety, unexplained injuries. It's like, you look for stuff like that. If you see somebody, a lot of alcohol consumption, drugs or cigarettes, changes in sleep patterns. Now, interest in the status of an investigation, including close attention to media coverage or the unwillingness to discuss the investigation. So if you see somebody who's acting like this and you have suspicions,
Call it in. So I know that's not what you've asked me.
But I honestly, I typed this out because I was thinking, I didn't type it out, but I printed it. Hand typed it out for everybody.
Right.
for me, the layperson, that's the kind of stuff I would not even notice, really.
Right.
Unless
And so,
somebody
like, if
told
I
me.
was at that truck stop, for instance, getting a McDonald's or whatever was there, and I noticed something, but I didn't think it had anything to do with this case because there was no struggle.
Right.
You will look at things, and it doesn't matter whether you think that it involves a case, just call it in.
Right.
It could be that you saw a blue truck that seemed really hostile, or you heard loud music, or you heard something
Right.
that you didn't think was a crime that could be a crime.
Sure. At that time.
At that time.
In that space and time.
Right.
And so I don't know how many people from Iowa are actually watching this right now, but I do want to get into like some of the ideas that these people have that are, what you're seeing, Jennifer.
Okay.
Like, how do you, like, when you look into this, what's your first instinct? Because that's always a good one.
So, correct. Almost 99% of the cases, and I can say that I've worked probably on 1,000 cases by now, which has been the pro bono work that I've done. I just feel like I think all of us give back a lot, and that's just how we do it. We do it in different ways. And I've worked a lot with Rebecca as well as with Calise. When it comes to your first instincts, they are always correct. We talk ourselves out of it. Mm-hmm. So when I looked at this, it didn't feel good. But I also got the community, how it supported how there was such a big, like, everybody wants to find her.
Of course.
I found this love for her.
I mean, 88,000 people are missing right now. And
right.
This one's national.
Right.
Because it's unusual.
Right. When Toni was speaking, I actually started crying a little bit because Morgan was my first case years ago. And she is such a fire for all of this. And I asked her to help us. Okay. I'm like, Morgan, Morgan? Morgan is Toni Ingram's daughter, and she has helped me in a lot of cases. And I'm like, can you help me with this case? So my first instincts, it was very interesting. I was honing in on names. So, and just for the record, the names, the reason why they mean much, and it's not, they have nothing to do with this, but the names were very different because the boyfriend, that was the boyfriend of Mollie's, who is wonderful. He's not involved. I'll say that from the start. His name is Dalton Jack. My son's name is Jack Dalton. His brother's name is Blake. My daughter's name is Blake. So for some reason, I had to hone in on the names. Now, from what I got as a hit, the first hit that I got was I felt that there was something that dealt with a car that I ended up seeing was a black minivan. What I know now, because I did look on the internet, I'm telling you what I know, which is conscious information, is that some girl was approached by a car that was a black minivan, or not minivan, or a black van, that wanted her to get in the car. That was the day before Mollie went missing. I think whatever's connected to that van, which I believe the law enforcement knows about, it hasn't been really publicized, but I feel like that's a piece. I also feel like there's something associated. I do not believe that Blake, Dalton Jack's brother, was involved at all, but I believe somebody that he might know, somebody that's associated to him. It could be a past employer. It could be somebody that he worked with. For some reason, I feel like that might be part of that might be a big involvement. And then one of the other things that I got instantly was I keep seeing her part-time work at the school, her part-time work with kids. I know that they said that they found a red shirt in the cornfields that was associated to where she worked part-time. There is something very big there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I also feel like we're going to find some type of evidence that in the cornfields, I did see a shed of some, like a white something. And when I see a shed, it doesn't mean they're in the shed. Please know that, you guys. I'm saying evidence. I'm not saying her. I'm saying evidence. And so there might be information, There might be information that has to deal with on a piece of property, when I looked at it, had to deal with where the house was or the barn was. It's on the other side of the cornfield on the property. That's where I felt there would be evidence.
What color is the shed?
I always get a white shed. That could be a gray shed. I didn't look into the color.
Okay.
Give me a second. It could be green. That was another thing that I got. So it might just be for I don't know, lawnmowers or whatever, but I felt like it was on the other side. I do feel like it's associated to the lowest point of where they were looking. So there was those 5 circles that you saw on the grid. I felt like it was over there that they would find the most evidence.
Let me see if I have this picture.
Jen, I get really creepy vibes when you talk about that shed. So I feel there's something to that.
I do too. I feel like there is evidence there or information.
Yeah, and it connects. And when you talk about that, I connect it to other evidence that's come through for me with other parts that we can talk about later. But there's definitely something creepy about that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, whenever you see a shed on any show, it's creepy. We'll just start from there. But
I don't know. This one particularly gives me that impression.
Yeah.
And the thing that you said about someone being approached, I also got that too. That at least, I mean, you said it was the day before or whatever, but I felt that it might have been something around the number 2. It could have been the second, but I also felt that someone was approached, and it could have even been Mollie, by a car several days, if not weeks, before this happened, and that there was like a sort of ongoing watching of this.
Oh, really?
And I felt like it was somebody that the brother of Dalton Jack, the brother Blake, his brother Blake.
See, that part was really interesting because I felt that it was a relative of Dalton Jack's that knew the connection. So I thought maybe it's the boyfriend's dad that knows someone who knows someone.
And that could be it. I only looked at his brother.
The boyfriend is definitely not involved.
Neither
I do feel they argued like
Right.
normal kids argue, but I don't feel that he's got anything malicious. And I
was told absolutely that the boyfriend and his brother were not involved at all.
No.
But I felt like there was a connection to his brother, in a sense of if they looked at the awareness like a past employer or a past employee or somebody that he worked with or somebody that he was affiliated with. And I keep getting school. It could be the school that he was at.
Maybe.
It's a connection that I feel they might want to look at.
Well, I do believe that I think she may have made her way home. I do believe the person that abducted her had some slight connection to her or may have known that there was nobody there. They need to really look for evidence, not from the boyfriend or not from the boyfriend's brother, but they need to scour the house a little bit. I hope they've done that, especially on, she was sitting on the bed. I don't know if she was painting her toenails or something, but I feel like she may have made it home, and either the person made it to the outside of her house, but I see a man. He's he's a slender build, but I don't think he's real young, but I see him standing at a distance. The thing about the black car, you guys, it reminds me of what he was wearing, all black, like maybe a black t-shirt and a pair of black slacks, but didn't look scroungy or dirty. Didn't even look like somebody who would do something like this. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, can I
Rebecca,
say something?
I also saw a guy like that.
Okay, so just so I could stop you guys, because I know she hasn't researched it, is that Rebecca, it has been said that she did make it back home.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it makes sense because
I
don't want, when she's jogging along and doing, I'm like, that seems not right to me. But I also see, when you guys said red, I saw something, a red piece. Well, you said hat, I saw red. You said shirt, I said red. But I will tell you that I thought it was related to something to do with work. That doesn't necessarily mean it's school, but I said DQ, which is Dairy Queen. Like they have those. I keep going DQ. I go, is that a Dairy Queen uniform? Did she stop by our Dairy Queen?
Do we know where she worked?
I have no idea. I didn't research that.
I feel root
She
beer.
got
Well, no,
images of
it
a
was a
diner, but I don't know if that's connected to her or
It was
where
a
one of these
It was
guys
a
had gone before.
partial. It was a. She worked part-time at this school. At this
Yeah, I don't think it's a
daycare.
school.
Okay.
I'm curious to see if there's like a Dairy Queen in town somewhere where maybe the guy was, or maybe she goes there once in a while. So I saw a hat that said DQ, and that reminds me
What
of
color? What color were the emblems on it?
lighter colored.
Yeah.
Wasn't black. And so,
Colder.
can anybody
Is
research
the
right now to
place
see if there's any Dairy Queens in that town?
DQ Grill and Chill?
It's like a Dairy Queen. They have ice cream and burger.
Oh, it was
like
one of my favorite places in Arizona when I grew
Yeah, they
where I
probably
grew
still
up.
have them in Iowa
Yeah,
too.
I think they have them. And is Winnemucca close to Iowa? Does anybody know? Are they close to Canada?
Yeah, it's north.
Okay, well, this person
It's
might.
pretty north. Here. I've got a map up
They
here.
might have somebody who could have come from that direction or knows something about the Board of Canada.
Internet's on here. Hold on
But my take is, look at, he had some kind of down low on her, that maybe
Correct.
he may have seen her, but then I always see this guy standing out, looking at the house and wanting to approach the house inside where she's at. She's in a room. She was looking at her toes. And then I think,
which is kind of like
caught off guard, and everything just goes kind of black.
kind of a
I
serial
don't
thing.
know. I don't think this guy is someone who is like a killer. I think his intentions, if this is an abduction, which we don't really even know yet, but I'm pretty sure, is that was more of a sexual thing than like, I want to murder you.
Got it.
So she may still be alive.
So what's the Canada connection?
We're hoping she's alive.
Yeah.
The Canada could be the red even.
I don't know. I
Canadian-
just
Canadian
got
flag.
Winnemucca.
Did either of you get images of a bridge? Because when I look into this, I keep seeing a bridge over a creek and some significance about this bridge.
I didn't, but my thing is like, I went to see if she got into her vehicle and went somewhere after that nobody knows about. So my thing is, I tracked her to her house, in her bedroom. I saw the guy standing in black. I saw something like a Dairy Queen where there may be root beer, and it could be an A&W, but I think it's a Dairy Queen. And what happened once she reached her house? I think whatever happened as she went into her house, because then she's there and everything seemed fine, and then I see black.
Do you feel like it could have happened before she got in the house?
I feel like
while
if she
was in the
went
house?
through if there's something, I felt the back part of
Yeah.
her house too.
She might have been caught off guard, or she went back out after, and people really don't know that yet.
It's interesting. I was just showing that.
Am I allowed to give details about the two men that I have picked up on?
Yeah. Give it.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Let me know if
wait, one second. I'm sorry to cut you off. Before I forget, I
Yep.
saw the name Greg or Gregory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get any names, but I saw physical description, like images, impressions, and I'm not sure if either of these are related to people that were people that were abducting Mollie or people that were helping Mollie. But the two men pictures that I keep seeing is one feels like a shorter guy with a beard. They both feel like they're in their mid to late 30s through to mid to early 40s. I'd say like between 35 and 45 is what they look like. The one feels a bit more stocky with a beard, possibly almost a reddish coloured beard or a light brown beard. And the other one feels like he's skinnier and taller, and he looks as though his hair is either dark blonde or a very light brown. He's got a very pale complexion, possibly freckles on the face, and he's quite skinny, and he just has a really creepy energy. And I wonder if that's similar to the man that Rebecca described earlier
I did see
that you
him,
saw near the house.
Maybe he was a little older than I expected. It wasn't like a 25-year-old guy. Could be late 30s, early 40s. I don't think 50s. He was a thinner type but strong, and it makes sense that he wear all black.
Yeah, the age is hard to.
Your age my age are similar, and he had either
Yeah,
light,
it's somewhere around there.
The hair color,
Like
I
the
saw
youngest
too.
35, but he's definitely not in his 50s. And you know what? When we were talking about the boyfriend, I keep feeling the boyfriend's going to be brought in for questioning or prosecuted or something like really unnecessary just based on what I feel, which is that the boyfriend's not involved in the way that he's going to be treated. I feel like he's going to get a pretty rough time throughout this. So we'll have to just see what happens.
I think he already has. I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel there's more of that coming for him.
I think so
but
too.
I just get this focus on two men.
There might be the gentleman that the one you and I are seeing with the lighter brown hair, or possibly was blonde at one time. He may have a tattoo on him.
Okay.
Slight too, but not like visible per se.
Yes, I feel that if he's got it, it's covered.
Yeah,
like if he wore jeans and a t-shirt, you
like
can
a
see
star or something. I don't know. But you can't really see it on his arms, but maybe a star.
Can I interject? Right. So when we were talking about names, I didn't look at names, but what I kept on getting was RA, and then I got Ramirez. So to me, I feel like it has to do. I don't feel like the name's Ramirez, but I feel like it has to do with someone that might have done this, might have tried this before.
May I comment on that?
And so, mean like the Ramirez who's in jail.
I'm just saying that I feel like it's someone that,
or maybe his initials are RR.
It could be, and that happens to deal with a big case that I dealt with in New York as well. So I had to really be careful about that. But I think you're correct. I also feel like it is somebody that was more calculating than we thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, it was definitely planned.
Because he doesn't look like he would do this, so he could get away with just looking normal, person.
And like they said in the list, like it's somebody that's very interested in the case.
Mm-hmm.
At the last of the list, it says is there somebody in your life that's more interested in the case than he should be, that's acting weird?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we're assuming it's a man.
You know what? I keep looking at her ankles, so I don't know what's on the ankle or what she had on her ankle, or if this guy, So at this point, we'll put something with her ankles.
I do also feel that that whoever did this has done this to someone else. This is not their first time, because I keep feeling that Mollie's like the second or the third woman who this person has approached.
It might be true because the tattoos on his body might make his own sign how many times he has conquered, like a conquest.
Mm-hmm.
There's something with these small,
which is a sign
of
tattoos, which is a sign of a stalker.
Oh,
but so another thing that I just want to mention. Sure. I don't feel like when we talk about this, when we talk about somebody abducting her, we're not saying that they did this and then killed her.
No,
we're just saying, because I don't feel her.
I can't at this point. Like when
she hasn't stepped forward to me.
Not at all. She hasn't stepped forward to me, and it's different when it comes to when someone dies tragically. The energy is so different than any other energy, and I have not felt that all day. So, I have felt something different.
Toni, when you're listening to this, what goes through your mind?
A lot of things have been going through my mind right now, and I believe from listening to you guys and knowing all these other cases, and along with our own daughter's case, I feel like this person had some knowledge about Mollie, that he or they, probably just he, but who knows, was watching her and knew that she was alone and just waited till the perfect time to come in and get her and took her somewhere. And I don't know where, but I mean, it is like a stalk. It's definitely like a stalking.
Right.
And I don't know if he has a connection to somebody that knows her or what it is, but he had some knowledge of her, and it was pre-planned is what I'm thinking and what I feel.
Yeah, I think he's
I agree with you, Toni.
Yeah, I think, Toni, that he's too calculating to just grab her off the highway. I also feel that I see her in a bedroom with a light bedspread of some type, maybe a little yellowish or tan. There's a window. It doesn't have, like, the blinds. You know how you have the shutters in here, Susan? Mm-hmm. It has...
It's like an attic.
Well, it has curtains that are blowing, so and there is some light coming in there, and I'm feeling like, she didn't. I don't think when he caught her off guard that she had much time to struggle, because I think he caught her off guard, but I don't think he would have just grabbed her off a highway. He's too smart for that.
I also said attic, and I'm sorry. Let me share with you my process because that's
Well, it could be, I don't know,
everybody
just
goes
don't
to the worst part. I said attic because I saw one window
Yeah,
that
there's
she
one.
was looking at, and so I immediately went to that, which was so wrong to even say verbally. But so what I should have said is
Iowa
I saw
farmhouse.
Well, it could be a house with an
full
attic.
house.
It could. I don't know if I see an attic, but it could be
It
a
wasn't
house.
an attic,
Yeah, it could be a house with an attic.
right? But it was
But
not.
this is
It
what
definitely
Not an
has an
addict, an attic.
upstairs.
yeah, an
Thank you.
attic. And I believe that you had, like I do. She's sitting on the bed, doing something with her feet, and then she's looking at the window. So the bed or something she's sitting on that has like a, not quite this, more of a little yellow
Oh,
to it, is looking out the window. She's
I just,
facing the
Rebecca,
window.
as you're describing that, I'm hearing a loud knocking on the door, like a sort of bashing, and I'm seeing her turn her head quite suddenly, and someone's knocking very, very loudly on the door. So I do wonder if it wasn't because this is something I read that they didn't have any signs of struggle. I do wonder if there was a knocking at the door and she opened the door.
Right, because it could have
I
been
believe that completely.
could have been somebody
Yeah.
that she recognized but was surprised. She was definitely caught off
In
guard.
the backyard, though, I
Nothing
felt like it
better
was
than
around
somebody
the
coming
back.
in while you're painting your nails.
Sorry, Toni, what were you
So
going to say?
something
Oh, I
else.
was just going to say that was the first thing I thought of too. Here she is house sitting is what I heard. If somebody knocked on the door, she would have went to the door thinking it was somebody that she knew, or maybe she looks like a bright
Feels
light,
right.
like she would be trusting. She'd open the door. She could have gotten overwhelmed right there in the doorway, and there's no sign of a struggle.
Right, and I do actually feel that whoever was knocking at the door made it sound like they needed help urgently, and I do agree with you that she has this young spirit, this young energy who is very trusting and is more likely to help than to
I felt that it was
accuse
through
someone.
the back.
Yeah.
Now
So,
this may be,
really
go ahead.
quick though.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Dairy Queen 10 miles west of Brooklyn in
Yeah.
the city of Newton.
Newton.
I wonder if he worked there and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's go to
There's
Dairy
something
Queen
with
or
right
something."
Newton,
It
Dairy
could
Queen.
be. It could be somebody that worked there. That it was a brother that did this.
Yeah, or
That's
he
what
stopped
it's a
there.
connection.
They should look
Definitely.
on the cameras at Newton
I
around
have the
that
chills.
area.
I have the chills over that.
Yeah,
It
and
has to do with the connection with either the person or the brother.
yeah, or that guy might have been by there. I would check the cameras in Newton. Also, if she was in fact painting her nails, they would have been wet at the time the one thing that's a clue is that's something with fingernail polish. It could be on
It's
the
by
bed,
the door. It's by the
something, yeah.
door
And
when
it
she
could,
left.
it doesn't have to be a tip, like it could be blue, light blue, like your dress or something. Something, an unusual color they might not have
Be
even-
left on somebody's car
or their
just
shirt.
yeah.
Or
clothing.
if she left the house, if she accidentally hit her toe as she was leaving the doorway.
Or on the car.
Yeah. in the
So
car.
there's the clue, something with fingernail polish, maybe possibly not a common color, and also caught off guard, had no time to struggle because it was so quick, and possibly somebody she indirectly knew of or like not suspecting him.
So what I believe is that she didn't trust the person, but she trusted the person said he was connected to.
Yeah, like it was
That's
something like
a
that.
big deal.
Or she might have
with
said,
that.
What are you doing here? Like really quickly. Like, huh? You're like, what are you
I
doing
don't
here?
believe she recognized that man.
She did
I
not.
believe the man that came to the door was someone that she didn't recognize, even though he might have been connected to someone.
Right, but
You're
feel
saying
like,
there's two people.
well, I feel like the person that initially came to her said he was connected in a very nice way, said he was connected to somebody that was very close to her. So whether it was her boyfriend's
that
brother
feels right.
or
Yeah,
whether it
that
was
could be.
was somebody that she was connected to, he said, I am so and so, I am this person's friend, very dear friend. He said blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he like this. I can see what he looks like very clearly. I can see him clear as day. I at first thought he had blonde hair, but I'm thinking he's lighter brown, like Calise said. Calise, what's Calise, right? I know her name, but
Calise.
Calise, yeah. I don't know what I'm calling her. Calise,
Sorry.
and
Calise.
Calise, and I could see his hair. The age is what I have too. Not somebody you would suspect. He may have very sinister energy, but he doesn't perceive to be like sinister looking.
Like
He's
39.
almost got
I got
this.
39.
Okay, this is the kind of thing. It's so creepy. He almost wants to look attractive for her
Correct. Yeah,
because he
39.
ultimately wants her to like him.
Yeah, he's the stalker guy.
It's got to be.
He's obsessed.
Trying to appear appealing to her.
Yeah,
You know,
that usually is how it starts.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah, because he wasn't dressed shabby.
Sorry, go on.
No, he's dressed like nice, like he was going on a date.
Oh, okay. I got some impressions on distances, and maybe you guys can share your impressions on this as well. But I felt that something, oh God, it's in kilometers, something significant happened within, I'm going to convert this, 1.7 miles, and then something again within about 12 miles. And I feel that those two distances, two different things happened. And then I'm seeing a car driving off due north very, very quickly. So like whatever happened within the 1.7 miles and then again in 12 miles and then the car just zoomed off. And then when you were saying Canada, I thought, oh, I wonder if the car's been dumped in Canada. I don't want to speculate.
You'd have to go through Minnesota to get to Winnipeg, Canada. Is that what you were saying, Winnipeg? You said
Winnemucca.
I don't know where that is, but there is Winnipeg. That's the closest
Winnemucca.
big city.
It's not Winnipeg. It's Winnemucca.
Okay.
But the Dairy Queen is a big clue, which would be Newton.
Maybe. Well, that's 10 miles away. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll put those facts down
Calise could be right that he may be like a slight auburn, maybe. So he may, like she said, have like slight freckles, possibly. And he's a very weird...
That's the skinny guy, but there's this other guy too who I feel might have been the driver or the accomplice, and he's the short stubby guy with the beard, and he's the one where I get these images of him eating a burger at a diner close by before all this happens.
Well, maybe that was the Dairy Queen.
Do they serve burgers at Dairy Queen?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, geez. Okay. Whew. Got to control myself here. I've got all these words that I want to say that I can't say on air because we're in America.
That's all right. You can say
wow is all I can say, because I had the clear image of him sitting there with a plastic tray, eating this burger, checking his watch, being like, yep, we got to get going soon. And the sun's going down. And then I feel that all this went down after twilight.
It's interesting.
So I can second all that stuff that you said with Dairy Queen. And that feels like it's west of where it all happened.
He may have a licenses in 2 different states. Like he's a double license somehow.
The stocky guy? That could be.
The driver.
He doesn't feel very smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked more like the one that you described. Maybe they crossed paths somehow. I don't really know. The one that I really honed in on was the tall, thinner one with the black T-shirt, the pant, wanting to look almost attractive for her, but like obsessed. Yeah, so that makes me think he, like you guys said, he may have known her, and was too embarrassed to approach her. Like, you know when somebody wants to ask you out and then you're like, what? Like, really? I don't think so.
I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, something
He
similar
may
to
have
like
a gun license too. I don't know how it is in Iowa. I know in New York there's a lot of restrictions on owning guns, but I would look through gun licenses because I don't feel he threatened her in any way with a gun, but I feel that he owns a gun or has access to a gun, or he has a license, he's registered for something of that nature. And I feel that the skinnier guy is the brains behind what's being going on.
It's the ghost coming through. Sorry, Calise, we missed the very end of what you just said.
Well, I think she said something that came through the mic like girl. Maybe there's a female that he's around and has no even idea.
Oh, I was talking about guns.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard girl.
No, she.
Oh, girl.
She
No,
heard
I
the
was saying
ghost.
guns.
She can hear stuff when she gets out.
I think that they need to focus more on the farmland south of Brooklyn. I think that is going to be a huge focus. That's going to come into play.
Well, interestingly, there was that big grassy field. I keep seeing the side of a road where it goes down like a ditch or a gully, and then grass or, I don't know, cornfield. It doesn't feel very high. It's not like sugarcane where it grows meters on end. But it feels like there's a road and then it goes down, there's a bit of a ditch, and then there's a field. And I feel that that's a significant location as well, evidential.
Mm-hmm. Because if he's that obsessed, he doesn't want to kill her. He just wants to keep her, like, with him or something. You know how they do that?
Right. There's evidence either in the middle of that field, and then I got towards the far left of that field.
Do you have numbers, like highway numbers, or do you get that?
I got 229.
8. Oh,
I got something
you know
with
what
a
else?
3. Something
I
with a
actually
3.
feel that they will find answers
Wait.
on this.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
That was a siren.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in
Was that
Manhattan.
he- was that
There's
he-
there's
oh, that
sirens
was
all the
you?
time.
Okay.
I'm in between 3 different
Okay.
hospitals here, so
Okay.
unfortunately you'll hear a lot of that. But I feel that they will find a resolution, but there's going to be a delay between either finding Mollie and the people getting convicted, or the people getting convicted and then finding Mollie. For some reason, I don't feel it's going to happen at the same time. I feel there's going to be a delay between those two.
I hope they're really on this because she may still be alive.
Has there been anything?
Well, it sounds weird. It's like a couple
Has
of
there-
guys. It sounds like some
Right.
kind of a.
Has there been any talk of ransom money or
Yes.
anything like that? Okay, I don't know this.
Well,
I feel like the
oh no,
connection when
ransom. No,
when
they're giving out $366,000 to get her back. So obviously, there's some money involved here, and
okay.
you know.
Can you look it up? Can somebody look it up? Edwards Road or something. It's a name. Edward
Let's have a
Road
look.
or Edwards. Like
In Iowa.
where she lives.
Okay.
It could be Edwards Hardware too, like your dad.
Mm-hmm.
It's Edwards something. Or Garden Supply. Didn't you guys see the? Did you say a shed that may have lawnmowers in it?
Mhm. It felt like a garden. So I saw the green part. I didn't know what color it was, but I got green, which also
There's an
indicates
Edward Rose.
It has
Yeah. What is it?
Edward Rose and Son.
What is that?
And did Blake work there?
It says, why Edward Rose? Edward Rose and Sons is a family-owned company known for providing modest to brand-new luxury apartment communities through the Midwest.
Oh.
Maybe that's where she is.
You know what's funny? Whenever I see that map, though, I don't know. I can't see the Edward Rosenson, but I keep getting drawn to the southeast corner of Brooklyn.
Well, that's
Whenever
what
I
I
look at
got.
that map,
That's what I
down near
said.
Little Bear
So
Creek.
it's the
Like on
one
the
that's on the
right?
bottom, right?
Yeah,
That's where
like
I'm
just
drawn.
above the
Everything.
F29, kind of where Little Bear Creek is,
Oh, at
to the
29.
east of Clay Street, to the north of Old Six Road. There's
229.
something going on there.
Mhm.
Like that's why I got 229 and you got 29.
Oh yeah, there's an F29. Where did I get the number 8 from? I wonder what that's connected to. But it's something near the creek. I did see that bridge, and I'm wondering if
Well, they
I'm
did
seeing.
say there was something to do with the creek, the water area.
Yeah,
They researched
I'm wondering
it.
if there's some evidence there that might be helpful. Looks like there's a bridge
We're
over.
gonna have evidence
Mill
spread
I
out.
wish I knew this area, but I don't. Last time I knew the area, so it was a lot easier for me to pull
It
stuff
felt
up.
very rocky and naturey, but when I zoom in, it looks quite sparse. So I don't know. But when I saw the image clairvoyantly, it looked like there was a lot of rocks and a lot of bushes.
Okay.
Every time I
Just
look
in
at the
case that
map
helps.
where all the circles are, I keep being drawn towards the bottom right.
Oh, the Edwards
too.
things might be the
Yes,
guy
me
does
Every
too.
single time.
maybe the guy does construction or something. Something in building.
Oh, I
And
wonder,
then I
the
get
creek is
black.
quite shallow. I wonder if that's the ditch that I was seeing, if it's actually the creek. Keep that in mind as well, just in case.
So what were the numbers you guys saw again?
I saw 229
Okay.
and I got something with
I
Edwards.
got something with a 3.
Edward Road.
Or
I looked up
Edwards
Road,
or-
but that Edward Rose and Sons LLC popped up.
Is there
Search for
is
your
there
next home.
Oh, guys, I got an 8, and there's the road called V8, in case that means anything,
Could you say that
which leads
again?
on to the F29.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, when you were asking for numbers, I got the number 8 and the girls got 2 and 9, and there's a road called V18 which leads into F29.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's interesting.
I think
Well,
the
there
guy
you go.
and he may do construction or know about building or has a shed with stuff like that.
And what I keep getting over and over and over again, which I can't help, is the connection to Blake. Whatever is and again, he did not do anything. He just has no awareness of anything regarding this. But I feel like there's such a big connection to Dalton Jack's brother,
Okay.
Blake.
Rebecca, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Was the word Ottawa?
Okay.
Ottawa
We're having.
that you said?
Can you say that
No,
again?
Wanamaca.
Okay, Guatemala, because I just looked up Edwards Drive in Iowa, and it has a Edwards Drive, Ottumwa. Ottumwa?
I have the chills
Iowa.
really bad. Someone needs to go there right now.
Well, it could be, it's Edward something.
It's Edwards Drive, and it is OTTU, M as in Mary, W as in world, A as in apple. Ottumwa.
Where is
and
that?
Iowa. I'm looking. It's by,
Don't you have the chills?
What is it?
I have the chills.
I-63, Highway 63, and what? I'm not very good at maps, as you can tell. Rutledge? It says Rutledge? But that's the name of the city, is Ottumwa, Iowa, and the area code's 52501.
Yeah, someone else just mentioned that in the comments.
Well, the thing is that that it might be that this guy is like I said, it looked like somebody had two different licenses, or maybe they travel a little bit for work. Maybe it's construction, maybe not. But I did hear Edwards really loud, and that's what I heard, Edwards, and I heard the name Greg or Gregory, but that was somebody's name.
I also just smelled really, really strongly Jack Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
I know.
Boy.
So one of the men, possibly the skinnier one, might have been drinking Jack Daniels, just in case there's a bottle of Jack Daniels lying around somewhere.
Or
That's on that profile.
What I just got
He fits the profile.
What I just got is that they might have worked at a liquor store when you said that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could be Jim Beam, but I'm pretty sure it's Jack Daniels.
Well, there was a Jack involved.
Okay, let's go. First impression, don't change it.
No. But what I got when you said that, though, about I got a liquor store. So maybe there's something to look at for that as well, a liquor store.
I kept hearing when I was tuning into Mollie, just, trying to understand her character, I kept hearing a lot about her doing side jobs and needing money and owing a lot of money. I don't know if she owed a lot of money to her parents or maybe it's just student loans, but there's this thing that she's always wanting to pay back the money. And that's part of the reason why she was, I don't know, even know if she was paid, but why she's doing all these extra jobs, because she needs the money.
Well,
that could be.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think anybody having student loans probably would have that.
You know what, though? You may be picking up on another person that was murdered.
Yeah.
That actually did need money, and they...
28-year-old woman with brown hair?
So you were talking about a water, a river or something, right?
Yes, a creek.
So Ottumwa is on a creek.
Correct.
On the 63 and the 34. There's two highways that go through there. And
I've worked on a couple of cases dealing with that area alone.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, ew.
Well, maybe that has something to do with that.
Camping grounds.
Are we picking up on that spirit?
Right. No, I've asked for everything to be, well, not that that's going to happen. But
I think Calise is picking up on a 28-year-old girl that was owed a lot of money for student loans and was working odd jobs. But I think Calise, you're picking up another victim.
Is that something that we know of factually, or is that something that...
No, it could be connected, though, to the case afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting to
Well, it seems
think
like
about.
this is sort of a planned event, and it's happened before, like you said. So maybe
I do feel that whoever was a victim before was much older, or at least 10 years older than Mollie.
And maybe she's in spirit?
I don't know. I don't know, because I'm tuning in psychically rather than mediumistically, so I'm only seeing psychic impressions here.
Mm-hmm. I think it's another woman trying to help Mollie. I think she got murdered. I think she's trying to help you help Mollie. She feels like maybe she was strangled or something. But not Mollie. Molly's no.
This other girl. Mm-hmm. She's been a victim of these two perpetrators.
I don't think so. Just she was a victim of somebody that slightly knew her and killed her, and then she got strangled, and she's brown hair, that age. And I got honest truth, that's somebody else. That's not Mollie, but maybe another victim of a violent crime trying to help Mollie. Maybe she died somewhere close to that area.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Somebody on Facebook said, could the guy have dual citizenship? You said he might have two driver's license.
I don't feel that. I feel 2 states. I don't feel 2 countries.
I do too. I'm going to stick with two states.
Okay. I'm going to have to go over this with a fine-tooth comb.
I see his face so clearly. I see exactly what he looks like. He's just standing there staring at me, and I'm staring at him. So I don't know if she got up and looked out her window and stared at him. I don't know if I'm going through Mollie's eyes or my own eyes. I see the guy very, very clearly, and I keep wanting to say, is that my imagination? And then I'm like, no, there he is, as clear as day.
When I was meditating on this earlier, I also felt in my hands, because I get all sorts of weird impressions. Sometimes I get images, sometimes I get feelings, but I felt as though I had rich, dark soil in my hands. So I feel it's something outside as well. And I feel that it's somewhere that has rich soil and somewhere that's not dry and dusty. And whenever I see on the news, Iowa always looks dry and dusty. So if there's somewhere that has rich, dark soil, I would walk around there and look for evidence as well, because I have a feeling that that's significant too.
Okay, so I'm in. I know I'm saying it wrong because somebody told me how to say it on Facebook, and I'm saying it Ottawa, or whatever it is. There's a Dairy Queen right next to that junction I told you about, and it's near sort of a big sort of not well. It's in the town, but there's outside of that. There's a lot of trees and foliage, and here we have a lake or not a lake, an actual river that's going through.
I feel like it's there versus where she was.
But there is a Dairy Queen nearby, and right where I was telling you about those junctions, where between the 53 and the 34 and the 63. Oh, that's 63. Sorry, my eyes are not focusing. So between the 34 and the 63, there's water. There's a Dairy Queen, and there's also a large area of foliage and trees, and it's open space. So it's not, and it's kind of a big area. But like you said, this might be that other.
Yeah. Well, no, the Dairy Queen belongs to the Mollie's case. The other one, I know for a fact, Calise is picking up on another victim that's trying to help. But that lady was a victim. This is, when I was finding Brianna, I had so many clues that were so accurate that I
amazed.
Yeah, but I was getting the flack like crazy. Flack. Like,
because you guys had to go, you had to fly somewhere. You had
I
to go
had
there.
to.
You had to do
I was
everything.
in a wig. I was in
Right.
We did a whole sting thing, but it took us a lot to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
It's hard to know.
I actually, though, had it in the very beginning.
You did.
It was taking the people to believe me, and that took a bit.
You guys have really good clues, but the question is,
always
how do
gets
we?
it right.
Okay,
so it's information. It doesn't. We cannot put it together.
Right.
They have so much information.
It's like a puzzle.
It's a
okay.
puzzle.
So what are our main points here?
To look at Blake.
There's
to look at Blake and who he worked for, schools that he associated with. If
anyone who worked in restaurants.
If there's a connection to anything that dealt with his friends, but anything that dealt with her, like how did she meet Dalton Jack? Like,
and then we're looking for maybe somebody who's been drinking a lot lately, or has a red hat on.
Well, you have a lot. You have listeners right now helping.
Yeah.
Can you look up? Is the Dairy Queen hat? Does it when they wear it? Because they have to wear a hat. Is it red with light blue? I'm trying to see what their hats look like. Because every time I think of what you said, I see it clearly. DQ. I know it's Dairy Queen. I know for a fact it's Dairy Queen. It's just what the significance
Dairy Queen
is.
hat looks black with a red logo.
I thought it was red and gold logo.
No, they also have a red and white with the logo DQ.
Right. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. Was the red and the white and gold, but
I'm just wondering if you're getting pointed to the Dairy Queen as something in that.
So all the information that we just have to give. So the Dairy Queen, look at that. Whatever that looks like to the law enforcement, Blake, he didn't do it, but whoever he's associated to is connected in some way. What Calise said. What was the part?
You had a ditch, and you saw a particular
Southeast Brooklyn. the ditch,
Southeast
the
Brooklyn
water,
is exactly
the rich
where
soil.
the Southeast Brooklyn part of it was exactly where is the only place my eyes, when I looked on a map, would go.
That's all right. Same here. The 1.7 miles
There's
and then
evidence.
the 12 miles.
There's evidence
the
there.
Two men.
There's something.
Two men who look like they're from out of town, but know her very well. Know of her very well.
There's also something with the property. I'm like, okay, so did they own the property? And I'm not getting that they own the property, but I'm getting within the property, the house of or the barn of wherever it is, there's something on the other side of it with a shed, which happened to coincide with what you were saying about
the creepy shed.
The creepy, but dealt with trimming your garden.
Yeah, and if she knew him, maybe he was going to reveal himself, and then she was like almost laughed him off, or had somebody said something to her prior, like you said, and she didn't really tell anybody. She just thought it was a joke.
Or he came to the back door. Again, I keep getting the back door.
Too.
I got the back door of him explaining something that he was doing gardening. That has to do with something with the yard.
There's definitely a loud knocking, like a hey, that kind of thing, like really loud and
Does
ferocious.
Anybody know if they have a fence or electric fence? I keep seeing him looking into the yard, but I think
so
it's
do
the
I.
back,
and
not
it could
the front.
be, but it could be. So when I get
and
these
a flashlight,
when I get these cases, I get okay. So when I get the view, I get somebody looking out towards the back. It doesn't mean that that's the person that is. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that she was looking out the back. I'm just saying that that was the view that I'm getting.
Well, I also see the number 8, but I think it's the time, 8:08, 8:30.
Oh.
Like I better do it where it's not too late, but it's not too. So he may have to be at work the next day or something with timing too. It's strategic with the time she was abducted.
All right, Rex, you need to get out.
And I want to go back to Rebecca's impression about the name, because I also have a big G written down on my piece of paper. And Rebecca did mention the name Greg or Craig, and I have a big G written down on my paper from last week when I was
saw
tuning.
the G, yeah.
So, okay, so the people on Facebook are saying a few things.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea.
She said they were apparently Ottawa is south, maybe somewhat southeast of Brooklyn. There is a Dairy Queen there. There isn't one in Brooklyn. Winnetka is due east of Iowa and Illinois on the lake. Is Winnetka? It's Canada.
It's Winnemucca.
It keeps changing.
No. She has said that consistently.
How do you spell
it's
it?
Never changed.
Winnemucca. I have no clue. It's just Winnemucca.
It could be ONE.
Winnemucca.
It could. You don't
rather.
W-A.
And then also Highway 88 and 80 go east to Illinois.
I just heard Molly, but that doesn't mean she's passed, where there's green fields, like the green, like it's not all.
Yeah,
like,
I was seeing green as well.
Yeah, and green, you
Yeah,
got
definitely.
something green. So
it's green is a big
fields.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this
There's a lot of references to outside.
This person might be fine financially.
So Toni said
I don't see
believe
money
you're
involved
right.
in it beyond the fact that Molly may have had loans and wanted to earn money through side jobs.
I believe you in the fact that I don't think it has to do with money at all. But
No.
I think this person has money or has a comfortable living.
Or where she's at, the property, the person that owns that property has money.
Correct.
Could be
It's a
twofold.
relative or it's someone. It's not because I kept asking. This is how this process works. When you go in deeper, you ask questions like, did the person that possibly was that dealt with, Molly, was that person, did he own the property that she was taken on? Or did he own the property that she might be on? And I was not getting, I didn't get yes for either one.
None of this feels like it's like the property feels different to the person.
Correct, but it also feels like it's somebody that person knew. So again,
Oh,
it goes back to if you're going to hide.
Toni.
Wait.
Go ahead.
I need to add something on that. So the skinny guy looks like he works with tools or works with his hands.
Right.
And I wonder if he's some kind of mechanic or engineer or plumber, and he's worked on a property and is familiar with the property,
Correct.
and that's why it's connected,
exactly
but not directly.
That's
it could
exactly
even
what's
be a
connected.
school. Maybe there's shed on the school.
That's the school that I kept
So,
seeing.
Toni, are you still with me?
Maybe.
I am.
Okay.
Can I say something
I
real
put
quick?
that picture up on the screen for them to look at that you just sent me.
Okay, and I wanted to tell you the shed, the picture that I showed you, the shed is about 7 miles from Brooklyn in a straight line, following roads more like 10 miles.
Interesting.
And there's
have
a main house and a shed.
Have they looked at it?
I have no idea. Steve just sent this to me.
Can you see that picture? So the shed is.
He was researching.
The shed is on the top circle.
Okay.
And then the wooded, overgrown area is right there. And then there's a main house. Are there cornfields out there, you think? I mean, it could be.
Kind of looks like it, but you never know.
I think there might be evidence in that shed, whether it's a tool that was taken that got put back. There's some evidence there.
Mm-hmm. What does the tool look like to you?
I don't know.
Okay, because to me, I'm seeing something sort of silvery or metallic, and that's why I'm wondering: is it a tool? Is it a weapon?
We're not going to say if
feels
it
like
is.
a tool.
We're just going to say if it's information or evidence.
Just feels
right. I'm feeling a lot about the school, you guys. A lot about the school.
I
have
kept
to
getting
go to
the
school, go to the maintenance, go to the shed,
and over again.
See
I kept
who
getting
was
the
there.
school all
Yeah,
afternoon.
maintenance for the school. That makes logical
that
sense
doesn't mean
too.
the guy was the maintenance, but I do think there's somebody either saw her there or knows her from there, which could connect the areas.
Every
not that
time I
big.
looked into it today, I kept getting all the kids, that picture that they have on the internet of all the kids with that she was a part of with the red shirts, which they found a red shirt in the cornfields. And then I asked if that was planted, and I was not feeling that it was, but I also wasn't like there was.
Could be a decoy too.
It feels like from earlier, like maybe a day or two before.
Jennifer, what does this look like to you? This picture behind me. Does it look like what you're looking for? That you saw?
Yes, it was always on the left, always that way.
Steve just did that research and sent it to me. He texted it to me.
I love it.
We love
I love
Steve.
it.
He's very involved in this.
I love this. Well, that's interesting. And
they need to look at that I got 0.2, so I don't know if that's a 0.2 mile radius around that.
It's on 210th Street.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Sorry. Now it's explicit. We are explicit. Yay.
It's all right. That's human.
You know what I love about Rebecca is that she can hear things and just go with it. What is it that you just got dealing with what I said about the shed and where it was located?
It was green.
Okay. So what else did you get?
I came through really quickly. Oh, that it could be also. Well, I saw something with like you said, tools, but it could be. I don't know. I keep seeing school maintenance tools, green.
Right. So it could be connected to somebody that's in the schools or somebody that's dealing with the schools, right?
Yeah.
Or somebody that's in the schools that's connected to her. Again, if we can just not put the puzzle pieces together, there's a puzzle piece with the school dealing with somebody that knows or somebody that has an attachment to somebody that knows where she is.
And the color red.
Correct.
Very clear.
And the green part, so I was shown a white shed just to show me the shed, but then it turned into green.
Maybe the bottom of it's green and the top's white.
No, it showed me green, and then I saw the lawnmower, like the hand lawnmower. I felt like it was something like that. Because I have to look if there's a plane or if there's a lot of ways to look at it.
It's not white. It has a little green in it.
Oh, I actually feel that the two guys may have done work together, but they were doing different jobs. Because when you said lawnmower, I don't feel the skinny guy operated a lawnmower. I feel that might have been the stocky guy.
But he knows somebody that does.
Yeah.
So there's something.
Can you guys look if there's Morris Road or Morris Place?
That's in Canada. I just jumped to Canada, so maybe somebody that's here.
Something.
Maybe that. Okay, hold on.
Go back to
By the way, my grandfather's Morris, and he's no longer here. And he also ran irrigation, so I have to look at that.
God, okay.
Because he owned Sunkist, so I have to look at all.
Oh
these
God,
different-
it might be Morris, your grandfather. Let's go.
I know,
Yeah.
but if he's showing Morris, like we said about William, who is part of the government.
They're going to find DNA from her hair in the house somewhere. Oh, that's not helpful.
On her
I don't know.
brush.
There's something about a piece of her hair that's going to help track her down.
That's interesting.
We'll have to wait and see. Do you get anything on that, Jen?
I did. I just got. Give me a second to process. Hold on.
Yeah, it's okay.
St. Louis, Morris Place, Morris, Illinois.
It feels like it was a vehicle.
Morris, Illinois.
Okay. This is the
Yeah,
first
maybe.
thing. It feels like it was a vehicle. So she might have had a piece. Like, I feel like, of course, you can get DNA on a brush, a hairbrush.
No, it feels like it's like fallen out of her head onto something like kind of velvety. It could be a seat of a car. Could be a carpet.
I feel that it's going to be connected to the person that did that. So I feel like it was.
Yeah.
I felt her in a seat. I felt her in the back seat of a car. It felt like. So there's something with her hair that feels like that's a way that they could connect her.
Yeah. I also can't get this image out of my mind of a car driving very quickly due north. And so I would be interested to know if this man with the 2 residencies connects in any way to a state that is north of Iowa. And I also feel that someone came in
That
from
would be
the
Minnesota.
west. Okay, so it could be Minnesota.
It could be a
The
hockey
car
Or
feels like
Illinois.
the car had
Illinois
come
is right to
from the west.
Oh, I see. Now, I Googled Morris from the Dairy Queen, and it says Morris, Norway. It's due north of Brooklyn.
Oh, it is?
Interesting.
So there's a place called Norris.
Morris.
Yeah, Morris.
By the way, there's going to be information regarding that to the case. Morris. So whatever's in that little location of Morris, from what I'm getting, is there's a person that's involved with this case. And again, it could be her boyfriend, and they did not do anything. It has to do with who they are associated with. Without them even knowing they were associated with them, has to do with information that for some reason got to these people that will indirectly be associated to them. Morris, it feels like, is a connector to somebody that was involved with her missing.
Okay.
Can I ask you, how far is the Dairy Queen from Morris?
I looked at the one in Ottawa.
Okay.
But
I really want
from
Dairy
Brooklyn,
Queen.
let me do. I know.
I grew up there.
That was
Someone just said there's
there.
a Morris Park campground southeast of Brooklyn.
Oh,
Is that what we
Really?
were talking about before? The camping
okay,
ground?
That's good to know.
What's it called? Morris?
Morris Park camping ground.
Okay, they got to look over there.
Yeah, they do.
Morris Park Camping Ground. This guy likes music, maybe country western, I think, but music for sure. He likes to play.
Yeah, this is
Maybe plays
northeast. Like
cards.
Brooklyn to the Morris area is northeast, and you said Brooklyn, the Morris campground.
That would make sense.
Rebecca,
So-
I feel that music is connected to the driver.
Yeah, some kind of music they play.
Yeah, but I feel the other guy, different taste in music.
Yeah, that kind of other
a
shorter
bit more
guy.
eclectic, a bit more emo.
I don't feel like there was 2 guys involved, but I feel like that the one guy was doing everything, or getting, because initially when I saw the van, I asked if there was 2 guys involved or 1. In her disappearance, I feel like it's 1, but I feel like he got all his information from somebody close to him.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe there's a connection. I don't have much on the one guy, but
don't
I do
feel
see the other
like,
guys Thursday.
Okay.
There's 2 people that are involved.
Can I ask you, does anybody have a suspect at all? I mean, do they even say that
I believe they
anybody's.
were interviewing a farmer, but I didn't feel anything on the farmer
I
when I
didn't
saw
either.
him on TV.
I kept asking.
The
I didn't
boyfriend of the
either.
farmer, I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Stop wasting time. Go for the people that are actually important. But then they don't always know.
He
you know?
had a pork farm,
So
and he had
Nate
priors.
just found Morris Elementary in Des Moines. We're thinking schools, but I see Morris, Illinois. There's a lot of Morrises around there.
There is.
Yeah, there's two, somebody said a campground. We've got Illinois, we've got Iowa, and then we've also got an elementary school.
I feel like you're right to look in the school. Like there's something there in the school that they haven't found yet. There's evidence in the school
over and over again. But I have to be very careful because of a past case that I worked on. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
that's right. But I do
probably already
feel
done it
as
anyway.
well that it's worth combing over the school one more time.
The people connected to the school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He got her by the arm. Like he had a very, like she said, he got my arm, like a strong hold on her arm, and probably was so quick, so quick.
Wow. I was so nervous about this, and I'm so incredibly impressed by how much information you guys came up with.
We've been looking at it.
I know.
All of us have. Either today, this is the first day that I've looked at it, but
I mean, hopefully it'll be
Jen,
useful.
the camera's got a really funny angle, so it looks like Rex is talking for you.
that is fine.
Is he blocking your?
It's actually he's giving me the information.
Well, Drew came in the middle and took our food away.
I know,
and made
and
a bunch
hungry.
of noise, and then let the dogs in, and he takes my podcast very seriously. So, okay, I had to change the battery on my phone because I was losing power rapidly. I have 9% because it's been a long day of podcasting.
There's a name Susie something too. Very loud, Susie.
And 88.
And I got an ex-girlfriend.
Okay, somebody else. I love this. It's like following clues. 88 and 80 go east to Illinois, which I saw that too, going to Morris. And then somebody.
Dang, I only got the 8, so it's hard to discern between
that's
the two.
close. 88 and 80. There's 8
Yeah.
and 80.
It doesn't matter. The 8 will come into play several times.
It'll
I'm sure.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
This person likes sweets. He likes maybe Dairy Queen, Susie, because Susie Q's are.
Well, he's kind of
aren't
fat,
they?
right? He's
No, he's
stout
not.
and
He's
stubby, or
no,
the skinny one.
The guy's skinny.
The skinny
skinny
one.
one.
No, he likes Susie
He just
Q's.
learned from somebody that works at Dairy Queen.
I hate those
Dairy
people
Queen.
who can eat like
He's
that.
the person that's the predator that actually has the wherewithal. He doesn't work there, but he knows the people that are involved at Dairy Queen, that are involved with Blake, that are involved. That's what I feel. I don't know if that's
Well,
I actually
true.
feel he's a lot smarter than people give him credit
There's
for.
something with a Q, you guys. The letter Q. Susie Q, Dairy Queen. It's a Q. It's not a clue. It's a Q.
He might be a queen. Okay, just saying. Not
didn't
saying.
get that impression, but you never know.
You never know. I was actually making a
we
joke. I
we
never
don't
got
know.
that impression.
That's a Q.
It could be just a clue.
Okay, so we have a revelation here on Facebook, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of this is actual, proof.
We are just seeing what comes in.
But I mean, these are obviously people that know maybe a little more than we do.
Okay.
Okay, so they said something about what? Before
You
I
know
say it.
what?
Before
I'm going to tell you something. I have 3 letters written down on my sheet. I have the letter L, the letter G, and the letter P. And if you think about their position in the alphabet, this could be very interesting.
What was it? L?
L,
with
G,
the circles,
and P.
I just got the circles. So
L, G, and P I have written down.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if that relates to initials or if that's close in the alphabet to
there's
other
somebody-
initials that are very significant.
There's a name that has been given.
Which I don't feel we need to name names.
It has Greg in it.
Yeah.
And
it's
we didn't know this. This is all
this is all new
something we don't know.
information.
And somebody mentioned school janitor, and
I did. What?
I may be reading this wrong. When you read it, you have to make
What's
sure.
the Gregory person?
Well, they mentioned this person, and it's news, and it's
Oh, really?
yeah.
I don't know. I just said that it had to do with.
Yeah.
I just said that
I heard
felt like
Gregory from her.
Cultural question. Do janitors fix things or just clean things?
they
Both.
fix and clean. So when I said that it had to do with the school,
So when I'm
I thought
seeing
Okay.
janitor.
maintenance, that
Correct.
So
Please.
Okay.
overlap.
Oh my God.
What'd you hear?
I heard something. Shoot, we need to go back to that.
We can.
It
We
sounded
have it
like
on
her
tape.
coming. Somebody came through that.
Yeah.
Something through the back. You know what? We got to go
back.
back to that.
It's the back.
We got to go back.
We can't right now. I
Oh,
mean,
darn
we
Wait,
have to
what?
render the whole tape and listen. But can you get the time on that so we can just whatever? Yeah, but what's the time on the audio for that? So okay,
Come through. I think
somebody
so.
said the janitor at the school that she works at is named Greg.
It's somebody that knows Greg.
Last name, I think.
It's somebody that knows
Yeah.
Greg.
Could be
I'm
Greg,
not
Greg,
saying
Greg.
it's Greg, but I think
There's a
it's somebody that knows
connection
Greg.
somewhere in that. Let's just say there's a connection somewhere in that.
Well, he should be a person of interest.
Well, maybe there's
Absolutely.
somebody at the school, like they know that Greg, Mr.
And
Greg.
I don't want to ruin this guy's life or anything because
No.
No, I'm not saying it's him. I think that it's connected to him, though.
Well, it's connected to the school.
Right.
Let's
It's
put
just
it that way.
interesting that it came up. Let's just put it that
Yeah,
way.
it's connected to the school, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be him, but he is the janitor at the school. So maybe if he saw anything weird or noticed anything weird, let's just say it's not necessarily him, but it's a clue to the school. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
And there's something that came through the audio because I'm the queen of audio stuff.
I know you hear it.
That
I
is
saw
true.
it, and
I
there
was
was
like,
something
no.
I
on
heard
there.
rat, rat, rat. But
Might have came through the back. It said something like that.
it black. Somebody
It was
said
a
they heard it
girl.
too.
Yeah.
I know they keep coming through your audio and stopping you from talking, Calise.
Maybe that's why the video keeps messing up.
Your video is fine on our end. We can see you fine. It's not. We don't have it on the screen.
I didn't know my video was streaming. Is my video streaming?
No. I've just
Well, then
got pictures.
I wouldn't have put on makeup if I knew that.
I have a
you look
video of you.
beautiful.
I have a video of you
Thanks.
in the computer, but I have to render it and take the pieces out later because that's our tape.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay,
All right,
so
then
I'm
I'll
not
make
sure. I'm kind of following this weird Facebook feed, and I don't know what if we'll have to find out more. And then there's the Gregory Morris is the football equipment manager at the University of Iowa, where she went to school. So
Really?
Gregory Morris.
I mean, who knows?
I
We
don't
don't
feel
want
it
to pin
that
things
way.
on people that aren't
No, I know.
suspects.
We're
because
not.
we
But
don't know.
I'm just saying there's so many things that it could be.
Well,
and
at school,
Yeah.
and there's the names are associated. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person. I might have gotten a clue that these people are connected to her schools. That's all.
Yeah,
Right? That made
exactly.
it go to
So
the
I
school.
think- so I
Doesn't mean
feel
it
like
has to
all
be them.
felt the school
Right.
was
So we all felt the
significant.
school. I'm like, what is the most important information? I felt like something connected to Blake, even though he had nothing to do with anything. I felt like
Yeah.
it had to do with the school. I felt like it had to do with some past employment of him, who happened to be his
That's
brother's, his brother,
Very Queen
Dalton
Dewey.
Jack. And so you're getting Greg. That is very significant, but I also feel like the Greg is also part of the information that someone else received.
Yeah, it could be, or it relates
Yeah.
to schools. So we don't know. We're just getting, okay, we probably know that there is something definitely with where she went to school or where she worked. Indirectly, directly, we don't know. Okay, if this person had kind of a crush on her, maybe he did know her history. You know what? So we might be getting that. And I feel like, I'm not saying she's passed. She may still be alive.
Oops, sorry.
Considering that this person wouldn't probably want to kill her if he wanted to be with her. You see what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
And I feel like you wanted
It
to
just
be with
seems
her.
like there's more people that know about this.
Right. So I know we've said a lot. We will be doing this again.
I
Right,
know.
Part
we
two.
really want to put it out there.
Yeah,
I saw the
I agree.
names, but because I say names, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the person that that killed her. Not. I didn't even say that. I think she's alive. Tell you the truth.
I
But-
haven't felt her, so I believe that.
Yeah, and
I don't
so
know.
I'm looking here to say, let's look at where those names are associated, and it could be the place, not the
Right.
person. The person could just happen to
Anything.
work there.
When you felt the other person come through, it wasn't Morgan, was it?
The other person that came through, what she was talking about?
Yeah, when you
Or-
said there was, maybe you were picking up on the
No,
other.
this is other.
No,
victim.
no, this was.
Oh no, we were tuning in psychically,
No,
and
I
there
was-
was a
I
feeling
was-
that there has been another
tuning-
woman that
this
may
isn't
have
the
been.
first time.
I was tuning into something in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, were you talking about the audio?
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Did
she
you hear
was.
something?
No, just that the guy, whoever did this, has done this to another woman, someone who is older and someone who also feels as though they're in the same area.
11, I
That
get.
Mollie's not the first person to be targeted.
Yeah, and we got it. We will go back. Can we listen to that audio after we end
Yeah.
this podcast? And I will tell you what it said because I heard it clearly.
Sorry.
It either said back or black. It was a woman's voice, and she was talking. She said a couple of things, but there was either back or black, but it was a sentence. So I'll get it because I'm used to hearing these audios.
She can hear it.
I can decipher that in 2
well,
seconds.
you do it
She's
psychically
amazing.
because I've listened. The only audio that I really could hear stuff was that Lacey Peterson thing, which blew my mind,
I got some awesome
and also
audio now.
Drew's dad. But
What about the Whitney Houston one? That was pretty clear.
yeah, that's true.
It just depends on the where the
Keep talking, Calise. Maybe she'll come back.
yeah, she will. Well, this is technology.
No,
The information
she
to
must
the
be in Brooklyn,
phones,
New York. That's why.
Yeah, our technology. I actually think that she may have wanted to go to New York, but that doesn't mean she's the one who came through the audio. I had a feeling about that. So I feel like they're
I
going to
think other
get.
people that are connected to
This is
her
n-
have come
yeah.
through. I haven't felt her.
Yeah,
I have felt people
Interesting.
connected to her.
yeah. I think that this is not one of these crimes that's going to go unsolved.
No,
there will
they're
be
gonna
the
get it.
mystery will be solved.
I agree with you, Rebecca. I feel there
Yeah.
will be a resolution
There
to
will
this.
be a resolution. It's going to come pretty quickly.
Yeah, and they got to work. They
Yeah,
can't
and
just.
then there'll be a delay between.
I think October,
people
there's
and
something
finding
with
Mollie.
3, and I feel like it's October that they're going to get a huge, whatever it is, something's going to happen in October.
Yeah, there might be
this
revelations
case.
in October, but then it's like finished by November because I feel that it's going to drag on for several weeks. We'll have to see.
October. That's a long time.
Well, they need to get on it to see because if she's alive and she's
October
she's
is just to be cautious. They could do
contained
it. They
somewhere.
could
It can
do
be
it.
before.
It could be before, but I feel like they're just going to be cautious with the information that
She
they're
could be in
getting.
a foreign country.
I wonder if
Maybe she could
I
be
don't feel that. I don't
Canada
feel things
by
have gone
October.
international.
I'm feeling a lot about. She's like somebody's yelling out July 4th, July 4th, July 4th. Now I don't know if it's just a holiday or that's somebody's birthday. So
Well, I felt something significant about July 2nd. So that week was certainly an
Yeah.
interesting one. There's something
Well,
about
I was
that
born
week.
July 1st, and I came home on July 4th.
Oh,
and my
gosh.
dad called me a firecracker.
oh, she did.
Yes. So
It's all
I
about
said
you,
that.
Jennifer.
That's probably you, Jennifer. Your pop.
We're gonna all have
Maybe.
psychic readings now.
I
from
did ask
Rebecca.
him to come through. So if you guys are saying that, I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. Listen.
Right.
I had no idea we would be here for 2 hours. Now I got to pay my sound guy extra. But,
Okay.
wasn't my plan. But we did get a hell of a lot of information, and I'm not sure what anything means. But
We will be looking at this and giving it back to law enforcement.
yeah, I mean, you need to go through
Absolutely.
it, all the details, write them down. We'll transcribe it, and then
Absolutely.
you can do it. I don't particularly care to. I don't need.
You don't have to.
I don't need $344,000.
We would never do it for that. Okay, so that's another thing you have to know. I've never accepted
Yeah, we're
a
not
dime
doing this for money.
for
We're just,
this money. I've
I don't-
actually been offered
I don't know if we're gonna find her.
$250,000 for a case in New York, and I actually turned it down.
Yeah.
I've made this so specific to not have that
Yeah.
happen because that's what people think that
Well,
we're
you're a
for.
good person, but
Yeah,
that's not
that's
why
true.
we're doing it. We felt that this would be a good way to have sort of a roundtable, and I'm going to get a lot more requests to do this again.
I didn't even know there was a reward, so I would do it. I mean,
knew
I
that
would do
about
it
you.
for nothing. I've never,
You know what's
I
interesting?
never
that.
charged.
Rebecca will take
No,
the money.
I might
the
take the money if I
this
found
came
her,
out
but-
in the
Crime
paper.
Stop- mention-
No, I wouldn't. I
mention
never
Crime
charged for
Stoppers.
this.
I'm just kidding.
I
know
might.
that.
You never know. I'll be honest. That's a lot of money. I could
I'm
do a
going
lot
to
of good work.
charge. I'm going to charge TV people to do that.
Well, and
Yeah.
but I do think that if anybody who's watching this finds something or knows something, or
You have to give back to us in our in our
Well, let us
causes.
know. But I mean, if you could find her based on whatever we gave you, we're happy.
Blake.
If it finds this girl faster and it helps her, and
I wish I lived closer because I do really well when I'm on the site of the abduction or whatever. Yeah, I can get a lot of clues. But in this is where the public comes in and as assets because we're not there. And they're the ears and eyes.
Right.
Now, like she said, we can't just run over to, somebody's house and say, "Oh, you did it." No, they're just a clue as to maybe location.
We just give information. They have to put the pieces together.
Right, and this is the thing.
They may already have a lot of the information that we have anyway, and then it just helps confirm. It just confirms what they already.
The circles, that are up there, like that circle that's to the lowest left, right?
There's going to be something interesting about this case when it all comes out, which I feel is either going to change laws or it's going to be quite significant. And the reason I say that is because I don't watch the news at all. But for some reason, I not only heard about this case when it came up, but I heard every single article. Like I managed to see every single article that was about it. And then I kept following it, which makes me feel that there's going to be something significant after this case is solved, which will affect America in general.
I feel like it has to do with some app too. That like, what if you can pick your lawnmower people based upon an app or something like that?
Okay.
I feel like it has to do with something that has not been regulated. So to say what you're saying, there's something involved in this case that was not regulated that presented itself with a person that possibly took her.
Yeah, it's gonna change something big.
Wait,
whether it's
say that again.
or
What are
whether
you
it's
trying
a way
to
of
say?
doing.
So what I was saying is that
something unprecedented. Maybe all kids are going to wear a GPS as they should.
Right. You know what? She just came through 2 times. You guys didn't catch it.
I was trying.
No, we do every time she does.
She said hi, and then people.
Right.
That wasn't you guys.
Hi, people.
So what I was saying about Calise said about the laws being changed possibly. I felt that there was something, and what I got was whatever business this person was involved with he was not checked out in this business.
Okay.
It had to do with like an app. Like if you said, okay, I need something fixed, this person needs to come over, which of course, this would be all over the news. So it wasn't that.
Okay.
But it had to do with the connection of feeling like you trusted this person.
Okay.
That's going to be changed.
So is he like a TaskRabbit guy showed up at the door?
He showed up at the door saying that he was part of something or knew somebody that she was
Whatever
comfortable
he said
with.
in that moment wasn't true.
Correct.
And it was aggressive, like with urgency.
And that's why I felt like, the whole, yeah.
Well, if she was at home, he was convincing enough for her to go outdoor with him for a minute and then grabbed her arm really hard, and she was so shocked she had no time to react. So her reaction time was like late because the shock was overwhelming.
Because you never think that that's going to happen.
Right, and it doesn't mean that he was...
Correct.
Was it even like doing anything?
It just means that she had no she's just like, I grew up in a great place. I don't think that I didn't expect this. So you're going to take me? Come on. What are you going to say? Okay.
Yeah, and she was like,
right.
So I can't say at that point he caused great bodily harm, but she said her arm. So he must have grabbed her by the arm because he obviously didn't drag her by the feet. And then wherever that is, I'm not sure because it's dark at that point.
Yeah, so we'll have to see just based on the evidence that we're picking up. How much this is confirmed.
So there'll be a part 2.
Facebook is having fun over here. One of the Mollie groups that doesn't allow names. Maddie is not involved. What did he look like? And then somebody said the brother's boyfriend played football in high school. They were thinking maybe the brother played football at the Greg Morris College.
Oh,
or with the football team because he's the Greg
Did
Morris
he?
is the we don't know, but he played in high school. And then, and they all got the ball rolling and stuff happened. It's hard to really understand what they're talking about. And then
there's so many ways to interpret it, though.
I know. And then she said there's a dating app of some sort that somebody said. And then this woman said,
oh,
she did.
Guys, general like community announcement, dating apps show your location.
Yeah.
Be very careful.
Yeah, they all know that. They all knew
So anyway,
that her
she
Snapchat.
She had
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
dating app.
Just
She
be
did
very careful with
somebody
that.
named, I'm not gonna say who. She did tall JP. She did tall, thin, male, 30, early 40, red, light brown hair and beard, lighter brown hair.
That's
pale,
what you guys both got.
Maybe some freckles on the face. Other
So
guy,
you guys
dark
both
hair,
got.
stocky, working possibly together. One being driver. And I think they're talking. What did JP say? Instagram. Somebody on Instagram.
What did we? Is that what we said? We said that, but did somebody else say that?
Well, they're finding these people that you've described on somebody's Instagram. I haven't looked at her. I did see her Twitter, but I didn't. Maybe
They just need to see who Blake's connected with. So did he?
We better quickly take a picture of that before it goes away. Well, I guess it can. It's hers. And then she has almost 3,000 followers on Twitter, so she was obviously well known.
No, I think you should take a picture of that.
We have to look it up.
Okay.
Who has 3,000 followers on Twitter if you're not famous?
She did.
That's amazing.
And then
it's amazing.
I don't know what she had before this though.
So there's a whole long
good
thing
point.
going on here, but I want to know which Instagram they're talking about. JP was asking for a description of the guy. Oh. So they were looking for the description. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was reading into that. But I think maybe we can get the connections based on your
Maybe 5'11", 6 foot, not like overly tall.
I didn't get that either.
It's hard though when people are skinny; they tend to look taller in the vision.
And I don't know.
He doesn't look super tall. The other guy's definitely short.
I don't know who this guy is. He's looking all this stuff up if he's affiliated.
Keep getting
with
brother.
Yeah. We're
okay.
Getting minds working, and
yes, we are
a collective consciousness of light and hope, and
getting
hopefully.
her
and
back.
Toni, I just want to tell you,
thank you.
I hope this doesn't give you PTSD or anything. It's just so much to deal with.
It actually helps your heart when you think that you're helping another family.
That's true.
That's beautiful.
So where can we find you, Toni? What's your give us an idea of how to find you if anybody wants to get into your line.
You can find me at Jennifer's with the Academy, and that would
I'm
be
crying
Toni
already. So crazy.
Okay, so tell me what the Academy is.
The Academy. So go ahead, Toni. You say it.
No.
Better.
You say it. You're better at this.
You're better at this.
Somebody say it. We got to wrap this up.
So we have something that we're bringing to the public eventually, and it's called Impartial Witness. And it is something very dear to Toni, Steve, myself, and several other people, our heart. What I realized doing crime work is that the FBI has the most cohesive database. When you are working with law enforcement, any police departments, they do not have a database that's consistent. Right. It's like the medical field. Mm-hmm. So that being said, when someone goes missing, they might get 2,000 phone calls that they don't have.
They can't field it.
They cannot field it. So what I thought of and what I was going through is I'm like, what if we just put it in an app and you just log on and say what you saw, whether it's blue, green, a weapon, this, that, and you just do that, and then the AI component goes through it and goes and says 80% of the people here, because it is it is a consciousness. Right. You can tap into it, whether you believe it in it or not. It's going to be less that you not believe later on. You'll listen to this later. So that part of it, if someone can do that, so like for this case, what if they were able to say this person went missing that night, and then everybody logged in and was able to say blah 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 blah, and then the AI component went through it and said everybody said this.
Yeah,
they have a jump start.
Okay, you guys are starting it because I've talked about that for years.
Well, you're a part of it.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're doing it because I never knew how to do it.
So Toni's in. So we have been teaching. We have been teaching people that have this. That's just part of it. That's impartial witness. Yeah. Impartial alliance has to deal with people that I have, that has to deal with intuitives that are already doing this work pro bono. Right. So we have all these great mediums that are doing this on cases. We have 1,300 cases from the Colorado.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, something I could hear you, but something kind of dropped out there. I think Susan's back.
Can you hear me?
Wait, can I guess? I got something, a big hit about post. Maybe he came and said, your mail got to my house by accident, or I've got this package for you. Something with post office.
That's good. Did anybody hear me about what I was talking about with impartial witness?
I didn't. Can you say it again?
Well, no. It was very long, but we
long.
do think, they cut out, the Zoom actually turned off because it was only an hour, but they're back.
Okay.
But
All right.
it's
I'm not going to say it again.
I know.
It's amazing. I'm glad that somebody's
I
doing
love
it.
that. I love this new way to help facilitate these things through the police department, which obviously doesn't have the
so
ability.
2 seconds. We just had our app placed in front of the DOJ 2 weeks ago to give us a grant. We also have investors. We also have close to 80, I think 82, Toni, or 83 people that we have trained to do this work, where the AI, so if somebody puts in information, Toni has been the person that they give all the information back to. We do it separately on these cases.
Wow.
And then the AI component goes through it. So it gives a head start to all law enforcement who I've spoken to.
Right.
And they're just like, oh my goodness, it's like DNA. It's like any other thing that they can use.
That's awesome.
And they're heavily, they are just going, no one's ever thought of that.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, because I learned from my work that a lot of people dreamt about 9/11, that a lot of people dreamt about
Consciousness.
And there was no place to put it. So what I had talked about, even on my radio show, everything, was why wasn't there a website where we could do something, but you guys are doing it, where you could collect information but weed out the crazy. Say that I dream about, like I dreamt about 9/11. I didn't have anywhere to give the information. If I give it to the FBI, they don't believe me.
Yeah,
but if
you need
200,000 people
it's a big
that are
job,
not,
isn't it?
but you got to be. The one thing is that
okay,
other
Toni,
people.
she just gave us the future part of it.
Yeah, you guys
remember that.
No, you got to.
No, we haven't thought of the future part of it. We thought of the cases now.
You're gonna have to listen to this podcast 3 or 4
No,
times.
you guys got to listen.
She's
to
always
this.
been a part of it, though.
Well, let me tell you
The
why.
premonitions.
And Rob Wells, thank you so much for handling a lot of this.
No,
too.
that's really great. We
But
appreciate
no,
it.
let me tell you guys
He's
one thing. Why we've
amazing.
got your attention, you guys. You have to make sure that other people that aren't connected to who's tracking cannot see other people's stuff.
Correct. We're all numbers.
Then it's not pure.
We are all numbers, and
Yeah.
I had to pull rank on a certain number, which I got because that was me. I'm not going to say it was you.
Yep.
But we are just numbers. We are not names. We are just
Interesting.
numbers.
No, but it's not even people. It's say 200 people said there was a red hat with a DQ on it. You want to make sure that that is hidden from the general public.
Correct. I agree with you
Because
completely.
then you don't
No,
have...
that just goes to the people that are law enforcement.
Because if you don't do it that way, I already know what you guys are talking about. I already had it. I'm going to tell it's the future.
Okay.
So I already completely know where you're going with this, okay? Because then the
that's good.
information won't... No, because I didn't know how to do it. The information can't be pure that way.
Correct. Absolutely. No one looks at anybody's information.
And you can't just call the FBI and say, okay,
so we've never, ever once,
You
ever
have
have
to do it as
called
a
up.
big collective
We've
group.
never, ever offered information. This is actually the only podcast where I've offered information that I was not solicited.
Right. And so what happened with me, though, I would call and be accurate, but who am I? Then they're like, how do you know this information? But if you do it as a collective group.
Correct.
Because just like, what if I work at Walmart and I'm a greeter and I have a dream about a crime?
Okay, so we get validated.
Yeah.
So we get actually validated. So when you come in and do these cases, you get points for being right, and then that part of it gets outsourced. Anyway.
Okay, so while
right.
you have been
glad you're
developing a new way to find perpetrators, I had electronic problems. First, the Zoom went out, and then my Facebook stopped showing up on my phone. So that's why I wasn't 100% in the conversation. But I just have to say that I think the spirits are telling us that
We're done.
really done a great job. and I'm glad you guys came and did this for us. And everybody knows, that I always have the best medium. So if you want to find Rebecca and Jen and and Calise.
Just look at your website.
Go to my website,
Yeah.
callingoutwithsusanpinsky.com, and go to our cast of Clairvoyance, or just, go to any of my pages and you'll see their names on there. And Jennifer M. Shaffer, she's got a website, jennifershaffer.com, and RebeccaFearing.com, CaliseSimone.com, and also, just look up Susan Pinsky Psychics, and you
we look really good on her site.
You do look good on my site.
We do.
But anyways, I had this weird glitch. All of a sudden, my phone went out, the Zoom went out all simultaneously, and I think it's I was so upset because I was like, oh no, Facebook stopped, and I wanted to say goodbye and thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you.
We had a very good audience today, and I hope that you share it, and maybe if you know anybody who knows anybody, just share it and see if we can come up with some more ideas for this case and help find this woman.
Yeah, she's going to be found. She'll be found.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do feel there'll be a follow-up show, so we'll have to.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that we'll get to prove ourselves right at some point, and hopefully it's a good, pretty ending, too, for us.
And Susan, thank you for trying to help this family too. It's really awesome.
I'm just facilitating the talent that I have in my reach, and it feels good to me, but I really am not very good at this, except for I just binge watched 2 seasons of Marcella. So I feel like I'm a detective now. Drew and I just finished the last one last night.
I'm like, what's Marcella? I just watched this shit. I've watched so many shows. I'm like, what?
Oh my God. Well, it's about this British
Darn it.
detective who stops killers of, young children.
Oh, I love that show.
And then she ends up going crazy and chops all her hair off and becomes a homeless person and dies there's not another season, so I'm not going to ruin it for you.
No, I don't blame you. I got all my training from watching The Bill growing up.
Okay.
So that's
So
all
between Marcella and The Bill, that's where we got our training.
All I can offer is that I understand that there are some horrendous people in this world who do bad things.
Yeah.
And more and more, and I think that we need to all protect ourselves and our families as best we can.
Right.
So try to help, find these people, and you can't turn away. It's an important thing to find at least one of the 88,000 missing
I was thinking
kids.
about that. So with your daughter, with Toni's daughter, you don't wake up. There's not one day where you do not think about your loved ones that are no longer
Today
there.
I told my daughter, I said, just be safe today, please.
Yeah, if you're not strong, you don't make it through.
Yeah, let's hope so. And we're going to all keep praying for her and hope that happens.
Well, their parents, as my daughter, and as a psychic, which I was warning, just because you have, Toni, let me tell you something. I knew something was wrong. I screamed and yelled, told the police. It didn't stop my daughter from crossing over.
Fell,
So you got to go back and say what have, could have, should have. But sometimes what have, could have, should have doesn't work anyway.
It's true.
You could have done what I did. You
Yeah.
could have done everything.
Very
It didn't
true.
work.
And
I know.
being a young
you
woman.
beat yourself up over and over.
Toni, today I asked for Morgan to show me a sign, and a dragonfly came up to my window.
Oh.
And it stayed there for so long. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm like, can you please put the power back on so I could take a warm shower? But it didn't happen. Toni, your daughter said something about
She just
cats,
blew up my electronics.
Whiskers, kitty cat, Whiskers. You have a cat?
Her kitty, Mowgli.
Oh, yeah. And you have the cat, right?
Yes, and Morgan's favorite cake is tiramisu, and last Thursday was her 27th birthday.
Oh.
So Steve actually gave the cat tiramisu as well as her puppy, who is now a dog, a full-grown dog, tiramisu. But put the dog up on the chair and had her eating out of my good dish, which I couldn't believe he did that.
Well, it was a birthday.
Well, maybe she knows that cat was licking its whiskers or something. I don't know, but she said and whiskers.
It was licking it. He sent me a photo of the cat licking the tiramisu cream off of its
That's what she's talking about.
whiskers.
Will you tell her that
so funny.
she knows that?
She
That's
thought it
so
was really funny.
Oh, that's cute.
Morgan's
Okay, well,
been-
we're gonna
Right.
close. We're gonna close out because I think Nate has to go back to his real life, and we appreciate
We love you, Nate.
the help that Nate gave
Thank
us today,
you.
and all the people
Thank
who
you.
gave us ideas. And
Right.
and I'm gonna look through my. I'm sort of taking pictures of some of these things that people are saying here, so that I can.
Also, my beta testers, the people that I have trained, and Lisa Williams is trained, and Colby is trained, we are all, they will be involved in this case as well, that will send on the information to Crime Stoppers.
And I'm telling you, it is exactly what should have been done a long time ago.
I know.
Because
the
as a
fact that
collective
no
group,
one has
the
done this.
people could share, because a lot of people get information, but they had
They
no
have
place
no way.
to put
Right,
it.
so they go in and they put it like an Amber Alert, a
Yeah.
live Amber Alert, but it's for cases. And like
you guys
Exactly.
figured out how to do it, because
it's taken
it was
years to
yeah,
understand.
well, because I learned from my work that so many people have dreams that predict things, and they have nowhere to go with it.
Right. You
Look
can't.
at-
Well,
Yeah.
you know, we've heard that a million times. I call up and said 9/11 is, going to happen. They're like, "Who are you?" And then you're afraid to tell them because the next thing you know, you're going to get arrested. For,
Yeah, because when I was at
for
your
terrorism.
husband's
Yeah.
party, I was getting 9/11 at
I
his
know.
40th birthday party.
You didn't know
But
what it
we
was.
didn't have.
Right.
But you can't do anything.
No, you
about it.
can't.
Yeah.
But if you have 200,000
Maybe
people,
you guys need a license or something so that when you call, you can say, "I'm a licensed psychic
We're all
medium."
certified.
Right?
What if you
No,
know
but
what I
I
mean?
don't wanna
So
do it.
forget
I
all
mean,
of that part. If
information.
this part just works, if everybody just goes in there saying what they think, the AI component can say
Okay.
200,000 people say it's there.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got to be something
Yeah,
to
right.
it.
No, I get that.
So they don't have to, and then it can learn from itself and
That's true.
cross-correlate.
That sounds great. The
it is-
technology sounds really cool.
It is something that we've been working on for years,
Good.
and it is something that I do believe will be probably one of my legacies.
I hope so.
The other one is not children. But
Not cooking dinner very
like,
well.
oh my
By the
gosh.
way, it's time for dinner, and I
Yes.
hate to
Yes,
say,
it is.
All
but
right, guys.
I'm getting hungry.
we love you, Calise,
Sorry,
and,
guys.
Please.
and we
thank
love you,
you.
Toni.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm so glad that we spent this time together. I was very nervous about it today.
Yes,
But
she was.
We'll see you guys
But it-
next time, and
Bye, Cleese.
Bye, guys.
God bless
See
everybody.
you later.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
great night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Toni.
Thanks,
Talk to
Toni.
you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. Follow Susan on Twitter or Instagram at First Lady of Love. And check callingoutwithsusanpinsky.com for all the latest info and links to our cast of clairvoyants.